So quickly,
So nice words.
thanks for coming along. I'm going to talk about something that's very passionate to me. So I've designed a course, or I've got a course from one of my courses on the program I'm going to run in the prison. It's called Pre-Apprenticeship Carpentry and Construction in the building industry. And some of the aspects of it is quite personal to me because communication is a huge thing in the construction industry. So I'm going to go through a presentation right here on the screen on the TV. And the presentation is all about how communication is so important and vital for anybody that works in the construction industry. So my previous role before I came to Ravenhall Prison was I was a sort of a liaison as a safety coordinator for a construction company, and I liaise between the foreman, bosses, and all the project managers on a daily basis with workers. I conducted things like site meetings, all about safety, and I did a bit of safety coordination. And to communicate in the building industry is complex because people have different and varied ways of communication. So it can be in a spoken language, you can communicate with somebody in a written language, or there's that body language. You can come up to somebody and say, you know, what are you doing with your hands open? That is an important aspect of communication. Or you can do communication with sound. You can say to somebody, hey, come here and stop doing that. So that type of communication. On a construction site, it's important. So I facilitated safety meetings, and my communication with building and construction foremen was vital, especially in the type of work we're doing. So construction projects involve numerous stakeholders such as architects, engineers, contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers. So within the construction industry, there isn't a sure way of facilitating things in a coordinated manner as structural as it is. People are on different floors, they're in different rooms, you can't get them. So your communication must be in a way that you can conduct somebody without having to stop them from working and to stop the flow of work. So face-to-face and via telephone and via the two-way radios is the way we communicated. Okay? And how we conducted our communication was important because the men working on a construction job, they are so busy working, they don't actually want to stop. Okay. And part of the problem we also have is the different languages we have on a construction site. You must understand that everybody speaks a different language. So we would have ways and means of communication, and we would do that with slides and with the ability to put videos out instead of just keep on talking. So communication can work with letters, memos, safe working method statements, or product directions for use. So it's common knowledge that if you take a can of paint, on the back of the label, there's things that you can use the paint for and what will happen if the paint is toxic. And so we had to somehow or the other convey this message to them, to the workers. How do we convey that message? That it's quite possible that if the paint is spilled, it can be toxic. So we have what they call product directions for use and safe work method statements. And safe work method statements is simple, is called SDS sheets. Safe working method statements. Okay. We also worked with the written language, maybe in must do, must not do, safe signs. Like so many times you see a little sign on a door that has got a green man running this way, meaning it's actually an information sign. If there's a fire, which way do you run? Okay? So I think it's important that everybody realizes that communication is that vital on a construction site. There is no way that we must stop communicating with each other. There also must be careful safety signs, safety help signs, and firefighting equipment signs. So many times we see when we walk into an office area or a building site, we see a little red sign with a with a curl on it that says that is where the fire hose rail is. That's a method of communication. Okay?
What must do?
Must do safety signs. A must do safety sign is that you must wear a helmet, or you must wear eye protection, or you must wear ear protection. So those are the must do signs. Okay? So this whole course here, I've taken off the internet, I've contextualized it to fit into a prison setting. I couldn't take this kind of work into that setting. It can't be related to emails or anything related to technology. So communication is still important whether that man is in a prison setting or he's not in a prison setting. He's still going to be faced with this safety signs and communication things when he leaves the prison, when he gets a job. He's not going to be in there forever. So we are training the men to get ready when they go on a building site or construction site, what it is to communicate. Of course, we have to teach them how to do written language. It could be text messaging, faxes, doors, windows, schedules, steel, delivery dockets. So we have to start getting the men ready that when they go onto a building site, how do they communicate? What methods of communication do they use? So as I said earlier on, if he's on a building site, the best way we discovered to communicate is via text messaging. We have one WhatsApp group that everybody is on. And in that way, we can communicate with all the men at one time, so that they don't have to use their phones and stand on their phones while communicating. It can be dangerous. It can similarly be dangerous while he's perhaps WhatsApping, but at least he's standing away from a truck that's been delivered and text somebody or WhatsApp somebody to say, look, there's a problem down, there's a hole that's not covered, can you please come and cover it?
And I imagine Irvin as well, because of text messaging these days being the preferred form of communication, that would be the most powerful way.
It would be the most powerful, yes.
Yeah, the people on the building site, that's very clever.
So problem solving and decision making in construction projects often encounter unforeseen challenges or changes that require quick decision making and problem solving. To solve problems on a building site or construction site is so vital. It has to be in a quick, fast, safe manner. If we have any problems, we have to attend to it almost immediately. There's no fireman or policeman on a building site. We are everything. So our communication must be effective. Yeah, and if we go further, we can talk about, if we shift away from just the safety aspect of it, communication can be about plans. We communicate on a building site through plans. What's the size of this bedroom, of this area? What's the height of the floor to the ceiling? That's our communication on a building site. So our communication is slightly different to, say, a company that involves, say, making TVs. They communicate in a different way. In the construction industry, this is how we communicate. By telling somebody, here's a plan, and on that plan is all the sizes of the rooms and the house you're going to build, or whatever section of that building site you're going to work on. So many times you walk on a construction site and you see somebody standing and he's got his hand up and he's showing to somebody that as that crane comes down, what he does. He's standing there, he's got all sorts of hand signs. That's our form of communication. We, on a building site, we communicate with hand signals, like this, or down, or up, or left, or down, or up. That's how we communicate. Sometimes I say we're actors, because only we understand that form of communication. So I've designed this to teach a young apprentice or a young man that's only coming on a building site now in how to communicate effectively, how to get himself understood, and how to get his job done. Okay. So many times we as construction workers, we stand and you'll always see us talking with our hands. It's become a norm for us. It's like somebody will stand on the site and say, you know, that room is that wide.
Yeah.
And as apart from that, it is the way we show each other about a specific job. And it's strange though, because in the construction industry, it's become the norm for us to do all communication with gesture. Okay? So last but not least, we also talk about safety signs, prohibition signs. Prohibition signs means that you cannot walk through that door. You cannot stand on this table. Prohibition means it prohibits you from doing certain things. Must do signs, as I said, it's mandatory signs. You must follow through that door and not that door. Safety help signs, emergency sign. There might be a sign with a green on the back and a white on the front, meaning that's where you get medical help. Firefighting equipment signs. So everything is about communications and signs. So that concludes my presentation on this aspect, communication in the construction industry. I hope you learned something. Thank you. Okay.